Let's have a look at the design of the preamplifier circuit. We need a preamplifier to go between our sensor and our audio amplifier. So I should draw them as blocks like this. And we have some requirements. If this has an output impedance R out for the sensor, then the input impedance here must be much greater than the output impedance of the sensor. And the output impedance here for the preamplifier must be much less than the input impedance of our audio amplifier. So that's one requirement for our preamplifier. It provides the impedance that's required for our signal flow. We also want to have some voltage gain, and in this case we want an output voltage to be less than equal to around 1 volt. We're going to build our preamplifier from a 741 op amp. Now the circuit diagram for the 741 is a triangle, and it's a triangle because we draw just 3 of the output pins. Pin 3, which is the non-inverting input, pin 2, which is the inverting input, and pin 6, that's where we measure the output voltage. We're going to apply the signal from our sensor, Vs, to pin 3. And we connect what's called a feedback network from pin 6 to pin 2. And the feedback network here comprises of 2 resistances in series, R1 and R2. And to analyse this circuit, we need to remember 2 basic laws of circuit design with op amps. And the first one is that the inputs draw no current. And that means that this circuit here is just a pure voltage divider. There's no current coming along here, so the voltage V minus is V out times R2 over R1 plus R2. Our second rule is that the output voltage has whatever value is required to make the inputs be at the same voltage. That means that V minus is equal to Vs, and so we can straight away write down that Vs is equal to V out times R2 over R1 plus R2, and that leads us to the gain equation for the non-inverting amplifier. V out over Vs is equal to 1 plus R1 over R2. There we are. In the circuit that we make, we need to have one more component, and that's because our sensor can be represented as a capacitance. It's a dielectric material, a piezoelectric material in fact, sandwiched between 2 metal electrodes, and as we vibrate this, if we apply some stress, for example, to it, then what happens is that charges appear on the surface. So there'll be vibrational stress going backwards and forwards. We make some charges which are alternating on the surface. Now, charges can only move if they have a closed path. But there is no path for current here because the inputs draw no current. So we have to create a pathway for these charges to move, and we do that by putting a 1 mega ohm resistor from pin 3 down to ground. Now we have our preamplifier.